Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you follow me on Instagram, then you would know that I recently spent just over a week in Las Vegas, Nevada for the first time. I had so many different experiences while I was there, but one in particular really stood out to me, and I shared this on my story to ask if you guys wanted to see a YouTube video about it, and you guys said yes. So today I'm going to be talking about my experience attending a timeshare presentation in Las Vegas. Keep in mind, when I was going to this presentation, I didn't even know timeshare was like a whole thing. I've heard about it in the past, but I didn't know specifically what it was. So essentially, a timeshare presentation is when a company will pitch to you kind of like property ownership across the world. And yeah, they have a whole fancy presentation, and you'll hear about it as I explain the story. Okay, so I was in Las Vegas with my mom, and we were pretty much just minding our own business. Like, I went to Sephora, then we went to Starbucks. We were just chilling, and I started walking towards Lululemon. But before I got to the Lululemon store, there was a little like booth, and this man who was wearing like a nice suit, he had his hair done and everything, like he was looking very, very professional, just walks up to me and my mom, and he pretty much goes like, "Oh, are you guys in Vegas for the next few days?" And we were like, "Yeah." And then he's like, "Oh, like I can get you guys tickets to shows or museums or whatever." So then that guy walked us over to the booth and handed us off to another guy. And that guy was showing us all the different shows and museums that we were able to choose from. So we were able to choose 2 different experiences. And I was, of course, just like, what is the catch? Like, what do we need to do to get these things? Because we all know nothing is free. Nothing is ever free. So pretty much he was like, yeah, you just need to attend a presentation. Keep in mind, I had no idea at the time, like what a timeshare presentation really was. He pretty much just said like, yeah, you're just gonna go to one of our properties and you'll just do a tour. He didn't even mention presentation, actually. I'm pretty sure he just said like, yeah, you'll just go to a property and do a tour, which I thought it was a little bit sketchy, but I saw that he had the name of like a reputable company on his badge. So I knew it was like an official type thing. So I was like, why not? I'll get tickets to the show, which I didn't want to pay for anyways. So once the documents were complete, the original guy came and ordered us an Uber to take to the property. I guess they have like certain times that these presentations start, so they told us that we would go to the next presentation. Anyway, so we got in our Uber, we arrive at the property, and then we go into a little room, and it's like a waiting room. They had snacks, they had drinks and everything that you could enjoy while you were waiting. Then after that, we were escorted to another room, which was more of like a big presentation room. So in this presentation, there was a big group of us, well, not big, maybe like 20 to 30 people, and they all arrived from like similar things. So like maybe from the mall or other places. And pretty much during this presentation, they started pitching their idea of timeshares. I don't think they officially called it timeshares during that presentation, but they were more pitching it as property ownership. So they were talking about, oh, who here likes to travel? Of course, most of us in the room were tourists. After all, it was Las Vegas. And yeah, so they said, who wants to travel? Where do you want to travel? And we would all go around the room and say like our top destinations. And then of course, then comes the, well, how about if we show you this? Like all your travel dreams can be possible type thing that they then presented to us. It was really a lot of build up, trying to build rapport with the audience and stuff like that, because of course that makes it easier to sell. So yeah, he would kind of ask us a lot of different questions. Where do you want to travel? What do you like to do? This and that, just trying to really make it engaging. Then towards the end of the presentation is where he started to talk about and explain the points model of what they're offering a little bit more. The way that they pitch it to you is by, again, asking you how much do you travel in a year? How much do you spend in that year when you're traveling? What are some of the, top destinations you want to go to? So of course I was saying places like Bali, Maldives, places that I would, from their perspective, probably never get to type thing. And that's really how they sell it to you. So they'll say like, okay, on January 1st of every year you'll get X amount of points, and then you can redeem those points across any of our properties around the world. So after that, we then went to sit with a salesman, and he was asking us again very similar questions like, oh, what is your dream destination? Like, where would you want to go? And really just trying to like suck that information out of us. So I remember I said like Bali, the Maldives, just a bunch of different places that I would want to go to. Next came touring the property. So the guy took us outside and he gave us a little tour of not the backyard of the property, but essentially like the outdoors of the property. So he was showing us like the pools, there was a water slide, and just everything that the property had to offer. Then we went upstairs to like a penthouse type thing, and he gave us a tour of that. And in the penthouse, it came with like, it's fully stocked with all the dishes, a full kitchen, a full fridge, everything like that. There was 2 bedrooms within there, full bedrooms, full bathrooms. Okay, so then we went outside to the balcony. There was a jacuzzi on there, and he would continue to ask us more questions like, what do you guys like to do? Like, and kind of providing scenarios to get us to imagine ourselves in there, which I'm not going to lie, they are very, very good at that, because I'm not a person who takes deals or like, you can't sell to me essentially, but I was actually really there like imagining myself like, okay, like this is nice. And then one thing that I remember specifically was when he was talking to my mom, he was like, oh, look over there, do you see the little like DJ area? Like imagine having your birthday party here and you guys are, you know, dancing downstairs, and then you guys come back up and all your friends are up here. You guys are still enjoying the jacuzzi and everything like that, which I'm not going to lie, I was really imagining my birthday there because I have a summer birthday. So I'm always like thinking of fun things to do. And I was actually like, wow, like if I do go through with this thing, keep in mind, I had no idea about the numbers or anything like that. But I was actually thinking to myself, okay, like if I do decide to go through with these things, like as soon as I leave here, I need to tell the girls, like save up your money. Like we are going to enjoy this property this summer. Okay, so then we went back to the office, and this is where the fun starts, for me at least. So one of the first questions that the salesman asked me was, how much are you willing to spend to get into something like this? And me, again, I don't really like deals like this. I didn't really know at the time it was a whole timeshare thing, but I don't really like these kind of deals. I don't like unexpected things coming my way, especially when it comes to my money. So I was like, you know what, after going upstairs to the property and actually like visualizing, I was like, you know what, if you can give this offer to me for $100 a month, I'm in. Which my point of view for that was because my mom and I were planning to split it. So it's literally like $50 a month for her, $50 a month for me. Like that's not going to impact me in any way. So I was like, you know what, if you can give it to me for that, sure, I'll sign up. Keep in mind, I didn't see any of like the interest rates or any paperwork at that point, but I was like, you know what, $100 a month, $1,200 a year, that's really nothing to get all of this. So I would go for it. Keep in mind, this is all in USD, by the way. So all of the numbers that I'm going to be talking about is in USD. So if you're a Canadian watching this like I am, it is a lot more in our Canadian dollars. So after I told him about the $100 a month, he did kind of say like, oh, that's on the lower end of what we can offer type thing. And I was like, okay, like bye then, like I'm good to go. Like I don't need this. It's more of a want. So, okay, if you can't do it, you can't do it. But anyways, he's like, okay, are you sure that if I can get you $100 a month or something close to it, are you sure that you will take this offer? I was like, yeah, why not? So anyways, he goes and he talks to his manager, and then the two of them come back and they present to me their first offer. So the first offer that they present me is for $300 a month. So right away I was like, I said my budget would be like $100 a month, and you're literally showing me something 3 times more. Another thing that really stood out to me at that point and was like a big red flag was the interest rate. So I saw the interest rate, and the interest rate was literally 23%. Let me pull out my calculator because we need to dive in deeper to these numbers. Okay, so I have my calculator here. We're gonna run through the numbers, but another thing to keep in mind is that there's also property fees, there's like some sort of activation fees. Basically, there's a bunch of different fees that are also added onto this, and those occur on a yearly basis. And from what I've heard and what I've seen online after researching, these fees, there's no like cap to these fees, so it can go up and down as much as they want. Okay, so let's see what $300 a month would have cost me at a rate of 23% over 10 years. Okay, so I'm going to use my calculator. So loan amount monthly, it's $300 a month, like I said, in USD. The interest rate is 23%. And then 10 years times 12 months is 120 months. So overall, across 10 years, I would have spent $14,000 just on the loan portion. But when we actually look at the interest rate, which is right down here, I would have spent over $21,000 in interest. Does this sound like a good deal to you? Because it's already not sounding like a good deal to me. So between the two of those, we're looking at $36,000. And keep in mind, this doesn't even include your flights. This doesn't include your like your food. It doesn't include any of this. It's literally just for accommodations, and this is all subject to availability. So for all you know, when you opt into this program and then you go to book Bali could be taken. So not good. So for that offer, the first offer, they were offering me something like 8,000 points, and I think that was equivalent to like 14 days or 14 nights of using their hotels type thing. So of course, right away I said no to that offer, and they were asking me why. They didn't know anything about me like deeply, because whenever people ask, where do you work? I always just say like I work in tech because that's my main job, but nobody knows necessarily about my love for finance unless I explicitly say that. So right when they offered that and I saw the 23%, I was like, yeah, I don't do interest rate that's 23% or even anything close to that. So I was like, no, thank you. So then under that, they pull out a second offer, and the second offer was for something like $125 or $150 a month. And again, it still had that same 23% interest rate, which was a big turn off for me. So I looked at the offer and I said, no, like it's still the same 23% interest rate. Like I'm not paying 23% interest for travel. So I was like, no, thank you. So then after that, they continued to just ask me questions and try to figure out why I didn't accept their offer. So while we were talking to the salesman, there was a little computer in the corner, and I noticed people who were in the presentation room with us going to it every so often and like entering information. I didn't really think too much about it, but then later on when the salesman was trying to persuade me, he goes, oh yeah, didn't you see all those people going to the computer? They're signing up for this. They're signing up for the timeshares, da 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 da. And I was just there like, good for them. Like, I'm not signing up. And then, yeah, pretty much long story short, in that aspect, I continued to say no to those offers. And he was like, you know what? Okay, I get you. You're smart. So we'll just finish here type thing. I'm just gonna go get my, I think it was like his manager, not his manager. I'm just going to go get someone from the, I think it's hospitality team they call it. And he'll just ask you how I did today, and then you can go about your day. So this guy then comes to me and he's pretty much just like, oh, like how did so-and-so, your sales agent, do today? I was like, yeah, he did good. He was nice. And yeah, pretty much right after that, he jumps into another offer. So he says, okay, I understand you didn't take the offers that were presented to you today for whatever reason, but what was the reason? And then again, I told him like the interest rate thing, and I just didn't want to do it. And he's like, okay, well, I understand if you want more time to think about it. So how about you join our VIP program? We have something called the VIP program. I forget what they say that it stands for. It's not very important person. It's something like very important, something along the like travel lines. I don't remember what it was. And yeah, pretty much this was for $1,900 USD. And I would have been able to go to, I think it was Hawaii, and I would have to attend another presentation for them, but I would get this like a couple of nights in Hawaii for the $1,900 type thing. And they pitch it as like a test of their system or a test of their program. So they say like, oh, just go there, you know, actually experience the program and the benefits of the program, and then, you know, attend another presentation and make your decision. And my mom and I were still just sitting there, and I looked at her, she looked at me, and I just told him straight up like, no, thank you. And I remember this was the most abrupt ending to a conversation I've ever had in my life. He literally picks up his stuff and then he goes, okay, go down the hall for your gift or whatever. And I was like, okay. Like, it was just a complete change of attitude, because during from the time that you meet them to the time that they're presenting the offers, the energy is very high. They want to make you feel like important and whatever, versus that just like, bye, get out type vibe. Okay, so before I can even go to just collect my free gifts, that was the main reason I was there, the same salesman that I was talking to for the whole thing comes back in, and he was like, I know you didn't accept the offer today and you didn't accept the VIP program, but I have one last idea for you. And I was just there, again, just eating my chips because I just wanted to leave. I was like, I'm just gonna eat your guys' food, drink your guys' drinks, as long as you wanna keep me here, and that's it. Plus I was hungry. Anyways, so yeah, he tells me I have one last offer for you. I was like, okay, what is it? And he's like, we actually have this credit card. And he takes out his wallet and shows me like the company credit card. He's like, oh, like this is another good idea for you because, you know, whenever you stay at our hotels, you get points, something along those lines. I don't even remember because I just did not care. But yeah, he tried to pitch to me this credit card, and he was like, okay, but how about if you do that same VIP program and then you put it on the credit card, and this credit card has 0 interest for, it was either 6 months or a year. So he's like, how about you just put it on the credit card and then you pay it off within a year, and then you haven't spent any money in interest. And I was like, I like the way you're thinking, but no. And then, yeah, after that, he was like, oh, like, why not get the card? Like, don't you have good credit? Da, 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 da. I was like, yes, I do have good credit, but I don't want your card. And then I was like, is your card even something that's available worldwide? Because I'm not from the USA, I live in Canada. And he's like, oh, like, actually, you do have to have a zip code, so it would only be for people in the USA. So that was pretty much the end of it. At that point, he said like, okay, like, thank you for coming. It was nice to meet you, da, 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 da. And then I started walking towards the gift shop, they call it, which was really just a front desk of a hotel. And I remember when we got to the desk, a few minutes after, we were just waiting in the line. And I didn't talk too much about the other salesman who was there, like the salesman's manager or whatever, but I know that guy hated me. When I was like walking towards the front desk at first, I passed like a little group of them huddling, and I could feel the energy of like, get this girl out of here type thing, because obviously I told them what time it was. I told them like, this is not a good deal, like 23% interest rate, like you're not getting me today. And then another time I was in the lineup at the front desk, and that same guy passes me. I remember his name and everything. Like, the vibe was just, he did not like me after I declined all of their offers. But yeah, the vibe was honestly like, you know, when you see someone who you know and you don't want to talk to them, but like you very obviously make eye contact, so you're just kind of like, that's literally what happened. It was just the weirdest thing ever. And I was like, yeah, this guy hates me, but it's okay, I'll take it. Another thing that I want to mention about timeshares before I close off this video is that they also try to really pitch you the idea of kind of like bringing your friends or you know, loaning points to your friends and getting your friends to pay you back. That way, you know, you're an owner and you're essentially getting rent type thing. So that's another thing to keep an eye on. But yeah, so this is pretty much what happened to me on my first timeshare experience. Like I was saying, I didn't really know anything about timeshares too deeply before the presentation in terms of whether or not I would go to one again. I would go to one again, but obviously I'm not taking any of their offers. I'm just going there to get the free food and just get the free tickets, because I got free tickets. I got a Visa gift card. Like, it was worth my time, I thought. So I will go for that purpose, but I don't have any intention of taking on a timeshare, probably ever. And yeah, this is just a final warning. Whenever you're going into anything, not just timeshares, but when you're getting your car loans, your mortgage, like any type of loan, pay attention to the interest rate. Don't pay attention to only the monthly payment, because the interest rate will literally eat you alive. So be careful, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.